welcome back to the studio in Brussels. And now it's after this really morning, grateful morning with the time when the time is flying. We had in the morning the wrap up from the breakout session yesterday, but today another round of breakout sessions. So I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope this was very fruitful time for you. During this morning as well, we had the presentations of the shortlisted candidates, and the voting ended at 11 o'clock. So now it's the time to welcome back Ulla Engelmann on the stage to present the winners in the awards. Ulla, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Theodore. I hope you can hear me and see me today.
Yes, I hear you. We all hear you and see you.
Very good. Exciting moments, and therefore I do not want to dwell too long, but I want to go straight to the first winner, the winner of the European Cluster Partnership of the year 2020. And I'm very pleased to present Marielle Campanella, who's the coordinator of the partnership IoT for Industry. And so we really would like now to hear from you, Marielle, in some words, how you effectively communicate on your partnership. So well-merited award, and we are looking forward that you share with us your communication efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ulla, for this award of the European Partnership of the year 2020, which is attributed to the entire IoT for Industry Consortium. It is a very valuable recognition of the intensive, active and efficient work that has been carried out by the project partners within this InnoSup One project. Actually, everything started 2 years and a half ago in 2018, and I would say even before, because several of us as project partners were already engaged together in common intra-cluster activities. Pôle SCS, that I represent, is a French competitiveness cluster specialized in digital technologies, and we are the coordinator of this IoT for Industry project, which has been settled by an active consortium of 8 partners, including 6 clusters from 5 European countries. I would like here to thank particularly our project partners. This award is also yours. So in France, the cluster Sim Mont Blanc Industrie and innovation consulting company GAC Group, the German cluster Microtech Sud-Ouest, in Italy, the cluster MESAP, in Belgium, the 2 clusters DSP Valley and Paul Mecatech, and in the UK, the technological center, the MTC. So just a few words, firstly, about IoT for Industry. This consortium has been composed in a way to clearly represent the cross-sectorial value chain of smart industry and to be able to best support SMEs in the aim of developing new collaborations. So the overall goal of IoT for Industry was, and I almost talk at the past because the project is going to close by the end of this year, it was to enhance the productivity and the innovation capacities of European manufacturing SMEs by developing their access to IoT technologies as smarter means of production and by modernizing their processes. So the project seeks also to accelerate the access to the market to new products and new services which are provided by technology SMEs. So very concretely, IoT for Industry relies on the principle of matchmaking, training, and cascade funding to accelerate selected collaborative prototypes and demonstrators with the IoT and the digital solutions providers and factories, industrial companies. So very concretely, after 2 open calls, which were entirely managed by the IoT for Industry Consortium, we have been able to redistribute 3.7 million euros to 84 SMEs engaged into 40 collaborative projects with in total 112 participating entities. And 95% of these projects are close to the market and 90% transnational, and they cover overall 20 different industrial sectors. It's worth mentioning that the agility of clusters has been fundamental in reaching those results because we were able to quickly mobilize these SMEs. They are part of our ecosystem and our daily activities. We know them very well, and we are able to communicate efficiently and directly to them. So the main question that you asked is about how to communicate on partnership. It is both wide and a straightforward subject. And I would say that communication in IoT for industry has been organized around 5 main ideas. The first one is be efficient and be simple. In IoT for industry, we made the choice to propose simple but efficient and agile funding schemes to SMEs. And we made our best effort to communicate in this way towards these companies. Secondly, be creative, especially on social media, where friendly style can create and maintain interest while building bridges among communities. Thirdly, be active and be regular to maintain a high attention and visibility on the project while reinforcing the idea of cohesion within the partnership, but on the other hand, without being overwhelming and monotone. Then be adaptive, especially in this context. IoT for industry, our challenge was to attract very different types of SMEs with different levels of knowledge of digitalization. So we adapted our way to communicate to these companies via local workshops, via webinars, via training sessions, and even one-to-one meeting. We adapted also our communication strategy within the COVID-19 context, and we have switched, of course, on virtual networks and events, and we adapted our practices accordingly. And finally, an important point, be proud and be enthusiastic of your project, of your partnership, and of your results. IoT for industry is about industry, is about digitalization, science, technological developments, about innovation, and it's really a challenging and a fantastic domain. So our strategy here was really to share our enthusiasm by communicating on collaborative projects, development, and outcomes, and by displaying concrete achievements within our ecosystems. So to conclude, I would like to also warmly thank the European Commission via the EASME agency for both its financial and strategic support to IoT for industry, represented by our project advisor, Mrs. Virginie Perron, who has always been very active, very committed, and a very good support for the development of this project. I would like also to take the opportunity of this tribune to strongly mention that InnoSup with Cascade funding is probably the best tool for enhancing clusters collaboration for the benefit of all ecosystems and especially SMEs. Therefore, I kindly encourage our friends of the European Commission who work on the Horizon Europe program to make sure that funding instruments that like Cascade funding will continue and will be available in the new framework. And so finally, on behalf of Pôle SCS and the IoT for Industry Partnership, thank you again to the ECCP for this award and for the organization of this very interesting European Annual Conference, which is really a success in this very innovative format. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marielle, and also for sharing with us not only the communication views, but also the importance of the InnoSup and the Cascade funding and the effect it had. So thank you very much. And now we will go to the award for the Cluster Manager of the Year. And I have to tell you, it was a very close run-up. So we have the 3 cluster managers, Corinne Faras, Antonio Novo, and Uwe Pfeil. So with this, I do not want to keep you too long because, but I want to share something a bit more innovative. And I think this is what the clusters are about, what all our meetings in the past also were about, that we are also innovative. And that's why I want to tell you, we have, as it was a very close run-up, decided to have the Cluster Manager of the Year award, and we have a special award. So I will first now give the Cluster Manager of the Year award, and afterwards the special award. So the Cluster Manager of the Year award goes to Uwe Pfeil, and this is congratulations. So, Uwe, would you like to share with us what also how you plan to communicate, but also what does it mean to be the European Cluster Manager of the Year? And in this sense, also that means also we have to engage much more in the future. So maybe you give us in a few minutes, not too long, your views and how do you feel? Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you all for voting me as the cluster manager of the year. I'm really feel honored and I'm a little bit nervous, as you can see, but I hope it's going on. I prepared some notices. You know, all the Germans are mostly well prepared. So I would like to share you some thoughts with me why I think clusters are important and also the communication. I think clusters are drivers for technology. Clusters are drivers or powerhouse for accelerating and technology. They're ecosystem builder. They're bridging between the actors. They can help in the transition to a smart and green society. And they are the trust which clusters are building is the base for projects. And even the clusters faced to the challenges of tomorrow, I think this is a very important issue because if you all know, when you were some of you also attended last year to the cluster conference in Bucharest, if somebody would have asked you 1 year ago, what is the main challenge in 2020? Nobody would say, oh, it's a pandemic crisis. And I think clusters can be a supporter to overcome this crisis, to support the ecosystem actors in the adaptation to new challenges and to new horizons. So, and yesterday, somebody also mentioned clusters are cement. That's right. That's the right expression. Maybe a short look at communication, because it was the focus on this cluster managers election. It's a very specific view. It's a view from me, but I would like to share it with you. Even if you all have most of you have a broad tool set in communication, like a website, newsletter, social media, participating in trade fairs. But don't forget, I think the most important channel is the direct and the personal contact from you to the members and to the actors. So stay always in contact with your members. And one more thing, I would like also to use this wide European audience to communicate really a top news from our two clusters, from the IT logistics cluster and the mobility cluster. I'm really proud to tell you that we are going to make a fusion out of these two clusters of the mobility and logistics clusters by the mid of next year. And out of this, we want to form a European top cluster for green and digital transition technologies in the field of mobility and transport. So I'm coming to the end. It's time to thank you all again. And at this stage, I would like to share my wishes and my hope with all of you. And my hope and my wish is that we can meet next year at the Cluster Collaboration Conference personally. So thank you, all the luck for you, and stay healthy.
Thank you very much, and thanks for sharing with us also the news on your cluster. And yeah, I think we all share your hopes that next year we can meet personally. And we are also looking forward to engage with you a lot more on the European level. So thanks a lot, Uwe, and enjoy the award. And now we go to the special award because we want to give a special award to all the efforts which have been done by the European Cluster Alliance to Antonio Novo, because he has managed to mobilize during the crisis the cluster community in also these daily webinars he organized from the beginning of the crisis up until now. And he created the European Alliance Against Coronavirus. And I think that is something we also want to single out as a good practice, as showing how this the power of clusters of reaching out has been used. And therefore, I would also like to give the word to Antonio to say some words on what he has done with ECHA and how he's also planning to continue to go ahead with this communication efforts he has been managing with the European Cluster Alliance. Can we have Antonio also? I can't hear you, Antonio.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sula. I am really moved by this recognition that, as I said this morning, I feel it's for sure, not only for me, but as you said, for many, many of you who have greatly contributed to creating the realities we are recognizing. As I have said, communication is about people, and the list of people who are supporting me in this journey is very long. It's impossible to name you all now, but it's fair to at least say thank you to some representatives. And I want to name Krzysztof Krystowski and Teodora Jilkova, representing all the members of the European Cluster Alliance, Alberto Cominges and Daniel González on all the Spanish clusters community, Leandro Hermida and Nina Hoffman and the entire team and members of our cluster, IDEA, Ula, yourself, Engelman, Marek Schreier, and Eva Revilla as representatives of the cluster unit at DigiGrow. And for sure, my wife, Carmen, and my daughters and son, Nerea Borjan Leire, whose support and understanding is key for keeping me happy and healthy. The European Cluster Alliance and the European Alliance Against Coronavirus are growing. We face very important challenges and opportunities during the next months and years. We will continue working, and we need you. Your contributions can be key. If you are still not participating, don't doubt. Please join us. You are invited. Let's keep in touch for real, and why not? Let's use our social media channels to connect to each other and share our knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And this is also a wish which I fully subscribe to. Let's stay connected, because we are definitely not out of the crisis. There is still a lot to be done, and it is important that we stay connected, that we are together in this and sharing knowledge, helping each other, inspiring each other. I think this is important. Okay, so with this, I think we close now the award session, but we have still some other topics to come. But from my side, big applause to the winners of these awards. They are all very well merited. And I think now over to Theodora.
Thank you very much, Ula, and congratulations to the winners. I'm really congratulations to the project IoT for Industry. Congratulations, Marinelle. And I really like what you said, that it's important in every project people to be proud of the project, of the partnership, and of the results. So this is great. Congratulations, Uwe. It's really great what you have shared, and obviously for that you have won the prize, the award for being the cluster manager of the year. So, and I wish you good luck with the next ideas for the next year and the project you mentioned. And also congratulations to Antonio for the special prize. I really have to say that knowing his daily works, Antonio, through the European Cluster Alliance and the daily meetings, he managed to create a real platform for cooperation, collaboration, connecting, which is extremely important in our daily life. So now we would like also to share more things, relevant information coming for clusters. So it is time to talk more about the labeling of clusters management quality, which will be presented by Hervé Floch, AFPC France and Germany. Hervé, I hope we have you.
Yes, Theodora. Good afternoon and good afternoon to everyone. So prior to speak about maybe UCLAS, I would like to congratulate the award manager and special congratulations to my friend Antonio, who is working very hard on these special days. So I'm very happy for him. So yesterday, through the pitch session, I did introduce you briefly on this UCLAS Association initiative. Today, I would like to really emphasize on the signing of a memorandum of understanding. This was signed by several national and regional clusters organizations, so 12 to be precise, and Antonio for Spain did sign, Flanders for Belgium, Romania, Daniel Kosnita for Romania, Go Cluster for Germany, the Czech Republic as well, Finland and the Lapland region, Lithuania and Bulgaria. So could we maybe, I cannot see the entire slide. So we have 12 members that decided to join this initiative to be founding members. So for your information, so this is the result of 2 years of hard work and of many meetings, so exchanging on several views and position for this association that will take over, replace the existing organization with ESCA, so which is still operating until this association will be officially created and operated. So for your information, the constitutive General Assembly will take place December 14th. And hopefully we will elect and install the very first board of this association. So this association will have the full responsibility for operating this labeling excellence for clusters. Hopefully, if everything goes smoothly, I think I hear someone else. So I just wanted to let you know that this association should be officially created by end of next January. So we expect the publication in the Moniteur journal, official journal, by end of January or early February, which means that within the first quarter of next year, we should be able to officially start the operation of this association. So this is a result of a long way, and I would like here to thank very sincerely all the cluster organization, policymakers that have been part of this initiative. We expect this association to welcome other members. So it's still open, other cluster organizations at the regional, at the national level that would like to embark, be part of this initiative are most welcome. Okay, so hopefully This new association running the European labeling will start early next year and will be able to gather more and more cluster organization. And finally, I would like to mention very deeply and sincerely that without the constant and strong support of the Commission and DJ Grow in particular, we probably won't be at the stage we are today. So it's a very good thing for the cluster community, European cluster community, and we expect this labeling to characterize the excellence of the European cluster, to show worldwide that cluster is a key actor for the recovery plan that was, launched recently and presented through different aspects during this European Cluster Conference. So thanks to all of you, and we expect to have you joining us to operate, to develop the UCLES Association. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hervé, for presenting, and I believe that this is all going well in the right direction. And glad to hear this information. So now we will invite Christophe Grichard from the DG Grow to hear more about the latest calls for clusters, which I believe is also very important in these times. Christophe?
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Yes, and
Very
we
good.
see you now. Yes, the floor is yours.
Very good. Thank you very much, Theodora, and good morning to everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to give you a brief update, indeed, on the call for proposals currently open under the Customer Work Program 2020. And please note that these are the last call opportunities of this programming period. So first of all, the European Cluster Excellence Program, this action aims basically at reinforcing excellence in cluster organizations and to support the partnering in capacity building across Europe. The actions will focus on cluster managers' skills, on strategy development at cluster and partnership level. It will also support twinning, networking, learning, and it shall include as well the implementation of the recently launched cluster exchange mobility schemes, which support short stay abroad of cluster members across Europe. The action will support the funding of 12 cluster partnerships for a total of 6 million euros. And the deadline for this call is on the 2nd of February 2021. The second call relates to strategic alliances for the uptake of advanced technologies by SMEs on the economic recovery. And this action aims basically to contribute to the European Commission's recovery package by supporting the partnering among clusters to boost collaboration between tech-savvy SMEs and traditional SMEs. And these cluster partnerships shall contribute to increase the adoption of advanced technologies in traditional SMEs, and as well to help EU tech-savvy SMEs to expand the market potential in the EU. This action will launch 2 pilot cluster partnerships for a total of 5 million euros focused on alliances, on building alliances among SMEs within specific industrial ecosystems. And the deadline of this call is also on 2nd of February 2021. And the third and last call is the Cluster Go International Action. This is the 4th and last call of this action under the Customer Work Program. And it will support the establishment of cluster partnerships for developing and implementing joint internationalization strategies for the benefit of SMEs. Basically, it supports common actions, helping European SMEs to access global value chains and to initiate a long-term cooperation agenda with strategic partners in third countries. The call is divided in two strands, one covering all sectors except defense and security, in view to fund 12 cluster partnerships with a total of 6.6 million euros. And this time, this call will cover a 3-year period, both covering the preparation and implementation phase of its internationalization strategy. The second strand focuses on defense and security sector, with a plan to fund 2 cluster partnerships for a total of 0.9 million euros. And the deadline of the call is also on the 2nd of December 2020. So in 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead. If you wish to get further information on this call, please consult the call page on the CCP. I provided you the link at the bottom of the page. And please take advantage of the cluster matchmaking meetings that will be organized after this conference this afternoon and tomorrow morning to identify relevant partners for this call. And I thank you basically for your attention for this introduction on this call. And I wish you also a very good networking and matchmaking in the follow-up meetings this afternoon and tomorrow.
Thank you very much for the information. So important deadlines. We have one deadline on the 2nd of December this year, and 2 of the deadlines are on the same day, 2nd of February 2021. As Christophe advised, please use the matchmaking event after this afternoon and tomorrow in order to discuss further opportunities on these calls. I know that already there are a lot of discussions going on the calls, especially for the clusters go international. And now I would like to invite Joëlle Durand, French Cluster Board France, to talk about women captains of sectors. Joëlle, the floor is yours. We don't hear you. Can you check?
You hear me now?
Yes,
and you
we
see
hear.
me?
Yes, we see you. We hear you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, we are very honored to have received the support of the French Minister of Industry, Agnès Pannier-Runacher, and the support of Hula Angoman to carry out this project. So 3 minutes to speak about the project. A few words about France clusters. It's the European leader of French clusters, 200 associated clusters, 80,000 companies, and 1 million of jobs concerned. France Clusters has launched an innovative and strong initiative aimed at women cluster captains throughout the French territory. The aim is to encourage the feminization of industrial sectors and, more concretely, to recruit the right skills in industrial and service companies. While women are absent from industrial enterprises, France Clusters noted that they are the majority among 1,000 employees of the 200 clusters that make up its network. A first step in the spring of 2020 was to interview 16 clusters women leaders to gain a better understanding of their motivation, their action drivers, and their contributions to their respective sectors as women leaders. Their findings are alarming. To comment on the graph, the next graph. Can we see the next graph, the next picture? No. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and there is another, okay. To comment on the graph, only between 20% and 10% of women in certain sectors. developments are very slow and even declining, like in digital. The interviewees denounced a lack of reflex on the part of women who have little interest in the world of industry, and a lack of openness on the part of decision makers who overrate male candidates. Interviewees observed a better evolution in large firms than in small firms. The clusters already hacked through, for example, organization of challenges, interventions in schools, the opening of doors of their companies for the discovery of trade. They open their living lab and or showroom to parents and children, and they go so far as to co-build collective employee brands to attract women talent. But the clusters want to go further, and they think that the economic recovery of 2021 represents a real opportunity. And above all, we should like to know more about the situation in the other European clusters, as well as their initiative to give new ideas to our French cluster community. Mrs. Engelmann, I have the pleasure of giving you the book virtually. It's the last slide. And in conclusion, could we imagine an exchange and action program for 2021 at a European level? Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very
Thank you for presenting. Thank you. And now we would like to share something with you with regards to Norma, who were our graphic designer and was picturing everything what was happening and said during the last 2 days. So in a normal situation, we would have these graphics around the conference, but in our virtual event, we would love to share the images, the graphics about the results, about most of the sessions that have been played and during the last 2 days. This will be also shared on the conference website. So we all hope you enjoy the work. I hope you really enjoyed the graphics and you will have a chance to see them on the conference website. They will be shared on social media, so it would be really interesting to hear your thoughts on that. And we are going now to the closing remarks for the plenary part of the day. So I would like to invite Ulla for her closing remarks on behalf of the European Commission. Thank you, Ulla.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I go to the direct closing, I would want quickly to react Joël's presentation, because I think this is a very important topic, and to look into how to foster to have more women represented also in the clusters is something we are very interested, and that's why I was also very pleased that I could contribute with the forward to this book. So we have to see how we can use the findings of this and also see what possibilities do we have on a European level to continue with this. So on the closing, we had intensive days yesterday and today, and I think yesterday we gained a lot of insights also with your discussions on the Green Deal, on the digitalization, the resilience, and the skills part. And I think what was also very important that yesterday evening we had the launch of the Pact for Skills, which in all the different parts of the launch with the different ecosystems, clusters were always participating and played an important role. So I think there we could really show the effects of clusters within different policy areas. You have also heard the messages from Commissioner Breton and Minister Altmaier, who were very encouraging and which were also showing towards the future, on one hand in the recovery, on the other hand in the multi-annual financial framework. Both got yesterday accepted by the European Council and the European Parliament. So we have a budget to work with for the coming years. So I think this is a very important message and will help us, of course, now to continue with our policy tools. And today's discussion of the recommendation of the expert group is something which we will refine after the discussions we had here also, and share it then with the community. I'm also looking very much forward what was the outcome of the different discussions in the 14 industrial ecosystems. This will help us to shape our policies in the upcoming new financial perspective, but also in the renewed industrial policy, where we want to highlight the important role of clusters. And so with this, I think come to the point to wrap up and to thank all the participants, because as it was an interactive conference, we were also counting on you to participate, to thank the award winners, but also to thank those who applied for the different partnerships and the different awards. It is very important to have such an engaged community. I also would want to thank our excellent moderator, Theodora, and so also support we had on the technical side. It's never easy to have this kind of online conferences, so it is good to have solid support, and so I want to thank also in the preparation phase all what was done on the logistical parts and support we had from the ECCP. Of course, our colleagues from EASM, but also our colleagues from the different services in the Commission helping with the discussions in the ecosystem. And of course, I would want to thank also my colleagues who put a lot of effort within this, and particularly Marek, who was a mastermind behind this conference. So. And the last person, so the last part I want to thank is the German presidency, because they have been our strong partner and we were very pleased to work so closely with them. But I think they will now also come in and give their point of view. So big thanks also to the German presidency with the Ministry for Economics and Energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ulla, for the recognition and for the very kind words. Thank you for the final remarks. And now I would like we to go to the studio in Berlin to have the final remarks from the German presidency side. Good afternoon. Sabine? We don't hear you, Sabine.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you, Theodora. Thank you, Ulla, for these polite words. First of all, on behalf of the German presidency, let me congratulate the winners of the votings to the European Cluster Manager of the Year and the Cluster Partnership of the Year 2020. And at the end also to ECA for the special award. You can imagine that we are very proud that a German cluster manager has won the voting of the cluster manager of the year 2020, especially because the cluster is a member of our program Go Cluster. We are very happy. Thank you for your votings. But I also like to congratulate the nominees for their making it to the podium. Then I'd like to thank you all for your interest and your active participation in this conference. I think you all contributed in this way to make it an effort, a great effort. I'd like to thank also, of course, Ulla Engelmann and her team, Theodora for her warm-hearted moderation, and the busy bees behind the scenes, not only in Brussels, but also here in Berlin. To hold such a big conference digitally is a great challenge, and I think you've did it well, very well. Before I close the conference now, I wish the participants of the coming matchmakings much success. So finally, let me thank you all again. Make your good way, all good for your health, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Sabine. Thank you. It's really time to finalize the plenary part of the second day. There is a matchmaking event scheduled this afternoon, and also the EU Cluster Virtual Matchmaking event for tomorrow. As a person who is connected in the business life with conferences and clusters, I have to say that it was a pleasure for me to be on that stage. I truly believe that conferences are the time to connect, the place to connect and to communicate and to create business opportunities. Though we have been in a virtual format, I hope it was a very productive event for everyone, and I would like to thank everyone for being part of it.